Look at this. What are we doing? This appears to be some sort of live stream show because of the NBA Finals Game 2. And we're in some weird fancy location that actually makes it look like we're in the world's nicest little corner of an Irish pub.
You are.
And I'm joined by none other than special guest and proprietor of the Hotel Trentham. It's Chris Anstey. Chris, what's going on?
Very little, mate. We thought that was going to be what game one was, but good little turn up. It's been a really fun morning so far.
It has. So we're basically just going to, have a quick chat about game 2. Throw the, questions out to the crowd. I got a couple of squids running around. They're full of chips and beans, causing all sorts of havoc with their Pokemon cards. The good thing is I'm full of beer, so here's to that. I love these live shows.
You're getting a couple of evil looks too from the squids. They're not happy with you right now.
The squids are not impressed.
No.
But you know this. You're a dad. Your kids are never impressed by anything you do. Right?
No, mine is. I gave him an iPad and he hasn't said a word in about an hour. This is good.
Is he still here?
Yeah, I think he's still here.
He's starting knife fights on the streets of Trentham. Anyway, so I guess that's all we're going to do on today's show, right? We're just going to chat about the game. We're going to say goodbye to the squid. He's cooked. Look at him. He's more cooked than I was, a couple of nights ago after a few tins, I'll tell you. But he's more cooked than the Pacers were today, right? What are we doing here? This is just one of those classic game 2s where the correction comes and you sort of go, right, did anything miraculous happen this time? No. Okay, then the correct team that probably should have won the game that miraculous happened in should have won, but it didn't happen this time.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out what the one takeaway was, and I'm always the guy that wants to be positive about everything, but there's been so much talk over the last week about whether or not Tyrese Halliburton is a superstar. I just think he's a star who's been incredible. I don't think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's a superstar. No matter what game he plays, you are going to get 25, 8 and 6 or something like that. But you're not quite sure what Tyrese Halliburton's going to give you. He's a star of the league. He's one of the best 25 players in the league, clearly. But on a game like today where you've done something miraculous and you want it to be historically miraculous, and it wasn't the fact that he missed shots, it was the fact he only took 10. I would have loved to have seen him have taken 20-odd shots at three-quarters, because in the fourth quarter when he got going, isn't it funny though, now when Indiana play, they're down 15, all right, they got them where they want them, and then Tyrese starts getting aggressive, okay, we're on now, but then you wonder why he wasn't like that for the first 3 quarters. So it's such a tricky one because he's been so good, but he also has games like today where you look at him and the game's over and he's got 5, 4 and 3. And I don't think you'd ever see that in a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or a Giannis game. Or he could very well get there, but I'm not quite sure he's there yet.
I mean, when you say Giannis, you just think about Game 7. Oh, Game 6, wasn't it? The closeout game in their finals. When he's just you know what I love? Chicken nuggets. I'm going to score 50, so I've got the world's greatest excuse to go get 50 chicken nuggets by winning the title and dropping a 50 on your head. And that's kind of it is a line of demarcation, I reckon, between probably the top 7, 8 players in the NBA and then kind of that next level, right? Of the dudes who are just going to go for the jugular when it's there to be had, that are just going to look you in the eye and just tear your heart out. You got to go fully Kali Ma, right? Reach in the chest, grab the heart, Kali Ma.
and it's such an interesting one because Indiana aren't built like that. But every now and again in a game like today where you've literally got a free swing, go and be a superstar. Go and have your 30 shots. And you know what? If I'm an Indiana Pacer teammate, I think, let's say you walk into the locker room after losing by 8 today and Tyrese has taken 35 shots and only made 12. I don't think I care.
Yeah, he's emptied the clip.
Absolutely.
So he's gone 7 of 13 for 17 points. And as you said, though, a lot of that came late. And it was kind of I feel like you've done your dash here a little bit. And then he's also had the 5 turnovers. They weren't quite, to break down this game from the start, right? They didn't have too many of the turnovers that absolutely, obviously smashed them in the first half of game 1. But it felt like OKC just controlled the pace still, regardless of we forced these turnovers, we're getting out in transition. Look at us, we're causing all this sort of havoc. It's going to be fun as. OKC just went, no, what we're going to do instead is just grind you into dust anyway. Check this out.
Well, I think everybody's pretty acutely aware of the fact that OKC are probably the only team in the league that can out Indiana.
Yep.
The point of difference the Pacers have had all year has been incredible. I think they've been the most different team in the league. But OKC can switch gears and play it. They've got the youthfulness, they've got the athleticism, they've got the talent to out Indiana. And I think that's a bit of what we saw today.
They also out-rebounded them, OKC. They got smashed on the boards in game one.
See, here's my thing. And this was what I couldn't understand, and far be it for me to ever question any professional coach because I couldn't do it. But they're the best team in the league by a long way this year, and they were the ones that made an adjustment for game one by shifting their starting lineup. I didn't understand, and again, probably why I'm not coaching. I'm sure there is a good reason, but I didn't understand why OKC didn't go with the group that had won, or they thought their best lineup to win those 65 games. Let Indiana adjust to them, not vice versa. Maybe it was a little bit almost out-clevered themselves in game one, and they started the same way today, but when they went back to the two bigs, that's when the game turned in OKC's favour.
Yeah, Hartenstein ends up with a plus 17 in 22 minutes.
There
It's not bad. I mean, it's not bad when, the backup bigs are essentially for Indy are like, oh, we'll throw out Obi Toppin and then we'll hope that Thomas Bryant doesn't suck. And Thomas Bryant wasn't just that great today. So you're kind of like, oh, rock, hard place, us, bang, right? And that's how it happens. They only had 35 rebounds, the Pacers. It's just, and you can sort of see that, those second chance points as well. Hey, look at this, photos. 11 offensive boards as well for the Thunder. You think about the different times that you get more cracks at the, more bites of the cherry, basically. I think they both ended up shooting 82 times, so 82 field goal attempts. But when you just control the pace, control possession like that, it makes it really, really, really bloody hard. And this is it. Did you ever play with a double big line? Well, you would have played power forward centers all the time.
One of the things I really enjoyed, I missed exactly what it was, but Don Nelson was recognised. It must have been for a Lifetime Achievement Award of some.
It was the Chuck Daly Award. So he won the Chuck Daly Award, which is the Coaches Association highest prestigious thing. So
there you go. So, and in looking up there, and we told a couple of Nelly stories, but I was actually a part of the biggest lineup in NBA history when Nelly was doing things small. So he started, and I can't for the life of me think of who the point guard was. It might have been Eric Strickland. Then he might have started Finley. Then it was Sabalos, myself, Sean Bradley, and Dirk Nowitzki.
Holy crap.
So the average height across the team was 6'8", 6'9", back when it... But he wanted to be different.
Awesome.
And what was your question? I just found myself telling that story without remembering why you asked me.
No, just talking about you when you were going into double big lineups, right?
Yeah, everyone used to... The twin tower inverted commas thing that people used to talk about, that's... It's different, and it causes rebounding advantages or disadvantages. And as long as you can defend your space and move your feet on the perimeter, and that's the thing. Hartenstein and Holmgren can both move their feet on the perimeter.
Yeah.
So they're not at a distinct disadvantage, and you see less and less of those slow lumbering bigs these days. And I guess even looking back to that, Sean Bradley 7'6", but Dirk always moved his feet well, especially when he wanted to as a young kid. And from who I was, I moved okay, and that's the only thing we had. So I guess, look, it was...
I'm still getting over that lineup. You, Sean Bradley, and Dirk, and as part of a front court. What the hell?
And then Finley as a guard. Yeah, it was good fun.
So Don Nelson did actually sort of get the nod earlier, and there was a part that we, watching here in the pub, what they didn't show, that he was wearing his Lucas, so his shoes that had just been released, as a protest. Because he's like, I hated the trade. Bring him back. What are you doing? I'm like, that's classic Don Nelson. Just going, what are you idiots doing? You completely screwed this. But the thing is, the news also came out today that Dallas are only working out Cooper Flagg for the number one pick. And it's like, can we crank this up? Or duh! You're only going to take him number one.
Why are they working him out?
Just go, yeah, he's
Give
fine.
him a holiday, we'll pick him. What's the workout for?
But Don Nelson, you also have talked about him in the past on this show. Here in the pub today, which is pretty fun, just talking about how he thought different, and it's really kind of cool to sort of see that Rick Carlisle was a big part of him hanging out and getting the big accolade, the Chuck Daly one, and so Off they went. They were just like, all right, there you go. There's Rick. And Rick is just like grinning like a loon, having the best time.
So, Don Nelson, there are a few things that very easily come to mind. And he was the first the first coach that I recall who habitually posted up guards and sent bigs to the perimeter. And he said something, and I'll never forget it. He said, everybody wants to play to their strengths. I want to play to the opponent's weaknesses. Put opponents in situations they haven't drilled on guarding. And I always thought that was brilliant as a point of difference. And so guys like Dirk who could step out and shoot the three, and then guards like Michael Finley who could just post up any two-man or point guard in the league. Now, we weren't a great team, but that ability to think differently and challenge the norm, even shooting technique-wise, he was the first guy who said, your shot doesn't start till you get it above your shoulders or above your eyebrows. Anything you do below your waist is where turnovers and mistakes happen. But every coach I've met since almost, shooting pocket, straight up through your line, it doesn't matter. And so he just dared you to think differently, but he challenged what you were capable of.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a really, really cool thing. I don't think enough young players these days are challenged to find what they're capable of. They're told no so often. Don Nelson would always tell you yes. Yeah. Try it.
I like that. That's awesome. Also, what a dude. That dude just feels like he's lived the best life.
His parties in Maui are, by all reports, incredible.
I mean,
that's all you need to know about Don Nelson.
We're sitting here at Hotel Trentham, which is lovely. It's also like, I don't know, driving from Brunswick today. It's like wet, miserable. I'm like, Hawaii. I feel like it'd just be a rad place to live. Like, what are we doing? It's crazy. Sure, there's like lava. What are they? Volcanoes, tsunami. It's fine. Anyway, the rest of this game, like 123-107, we all kind of saw it coming.
Hang on, I'll ask you. I've never asked you a question on your own podcast.
Sure.
The Caruso-Giddey trade. We talked a bit about it during the game, and it's one of those who won the trade, and you go.
It's the classic win-win. I don't think OKC are as good as they are right now with Giddey there, where they're trying to like probably force him as a starter still. There's probably, maybe we'll bring him off the bench, and that's probably sunk his confidence. Maybe they're just not as good, whereas Caruso knows his role, has always known his role. His role is literally just be Elmer Fudd, but awesome, right? It's great.
Does Shea win MVP with Giddey at OKC?
I don't think so. I think there's still too much of like a timeshare aspect of it, and they probably end up tripping over each other. Like, we know that Josh is like a super smart player. Probably would have figured some stuff out, and he's figured out in Chicago like how to play next to Kobe White, that sort of stuff. But Kobe White's not an MVP level dude, right? Like, these are the big sort of trade-offs you're going to have. It was a ballsy trade by OKC to go, yes, you were the number 6 pick a couple of years ago. We've developed you to a point where we feel pretty good about you, but we're just not entirely sure about this fit for the good of the team. Here we are. They also realised that in like a year's time, you'll be up for an extension, and we just can't afford you, SGA, Chet, and J-Dub. And so this is the salary cap crunch that's always going to be coming. And I mean,
and it's going to end up better for Josh as well.
Exactly. So I think it worked for them because they realised that their best 3 players will be SGA, J-Dub, Chet. All respect to Josh, but Josh is also going to get a mammoth extension. So
perfect answer.
It's going to be fine. We did get Johnny Furphy out there today, though. Like, how good are 4 minutes of Johnny Furphy where he got 1 rebound and a
lazy closeout you were giving him grief for.
Brutal closeout that I'm just like, hashtag drive-by. Just like, what was that? Speaking of drive-bys, I did get a shout from a noted basketball reporter in Australia today going, Jim, I think you need to respond to this. It's some lady, Pacers fan, saying whether or not she'd pass or smash on all the Pacers players. Instantly, I'm like, I have problems with this. Is objectification. I'm not sure if I'm okay with this. And then she dug into Johnny Furphy saying, no, get him out of here. Send him back to Australia. I'm like, but miss, if you did anything to him, I'm pretty sure it's illegal in most states in the USA. Like, he's just a boy. Come on. Like, what are we doing? Also, he's the prettiest little boy that they've got, I think, that Pacers team. I'm not into pretty little boys, BT-dubs.
You might want to dig yourself out of this one pretty quick.
Dig up, stupid, dig up. But Johnny Furphy is like a handsome young fella. And I don't know how she was like, pass. I'm like, And also through Shade
I'll save
Australia.
you. Johnny Furphy's going to be a part of this Boomers generation. He's going to be an NBA guy for a few years, and at the very least, and he's been around a program that he's now proven to be successful. And I think one of the best things any young kid can be around when you get to the NBA is success. And that will hold him in, a little bit when Patty Mills came and spent his time with the Spurs. It took him getting to the Spurs to become the Patty Mills we now all know.
Yep.
Johnny Furphy's been around that year one. He's learnt what it means to be an NBA player in fast forward to other guys who sit and play spot minutes for the cellar dweller team.
Yeah.
So he's going to be an NBA guy. He's going to be a boomer. We're going to get to know Johnny Furphy a lot better than whoever you're talking about is going to get to know him.
I mean, seriously, the fact that the Pacers went, cool, second round pick, but we're actually going to invest in you and actually bring you into the team. We're not going to just sit you in the G League the entire year.
And the fact forget the minutes today for a second. The fact he's actually suiting up is a credit to him because there's
Alex Dukas at OKC in his street clothes, a few other Aussies. When it comes to nut cutting time, in their street clothes don't quite make that final lineup.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, the rest of the stats from today, it's pretty. I mean, the big thing that I had, you could sort of, as we were watching, Siakam was the only dude for the Pacers who was kind of doing too much on offense early, right? But he also, I don't know what to tell you, but he went and shot a bit of a magical number. So this may or may not work, but chill. I think I know that off the top of my head. The 3-11 drop. He went and shot 3-11 in the end, right? And this is kind of the thing. They were running so much through him. He had, 4 fouls, a couple of turnovers, ends up only on the 15 points. And you could really just sort of see, the Thunder go, you know what? If it's Siakam who's going to kill us today, we've got enough dudes that we can just kind of make his life a pain in the ass. And it wasn't the way game one was Obi Toppin going, today I'll hit 5 threes. And today he went 1 of 8, right? That's just Spud of the night, as simple as that. He's just we know how hard it is on the road for role players to be really stepping up. So if Siakam has a really inefficient game, and if Halliburton, as you hit on, was only taking 10 shots halfway through the fourth fucking quarter, you got to go, oh yeah, you guys are cooked. If you just wrote that down, you'd be yeah, Indy going to get smashed.
You kind of figure out, I've paid a lot more attention. What's sustainable? Those kinds of games where you want your role players to all step up in the same game is not a sustainable way to win playoff basketball. Yep. The sustainable way to win playoff basketball, I think, is for your best players to take the most amount of shots in the best environments possible. It sounds like such a simple way to describe a game of basketball, but that wasn't what Indiana did today. What OKC did today was their best player took a bunch of shots. Their second best argument, Chet Holmgren, took a bunch of shots to get them going. And because they were going, all the role guys, so Caruso had 13 in the first 13 minutes, what he did after that when the game was up. Wiggins had
5 threes.
Yeah, there you go. So he did the Obi Toppin game, yep. But I think that came because Shea made it okay for them to feel comfortable. That there wasn't a pressure on them to score because Shea was doing that. There was a pressure on Indiana's role players to score because their best 2 guys weren't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, SGA obviously led from the front. He was smashing it early, just was everywhere. What did they lead? 26-20 after the first quarter. And then they just sort of kept it rolling, right? He ends up with 34. And it's the easiest 34 you'll ever see. He's just such a, I don't know, it's trying to...
He's a superstar.
Trying to figure out the weird historical comp to him, it's almost impossible.
Do you need to compare him to anyone? Can't he just be the first Shea? Comparison's the thief of joy, Jimmy.
Oh, I like that.
You don't have to compare him to anyone. Just let him be the first Shea.
But you got to understand, my dumb brain needs comparisons. I'm so dumb, Chris. I need to go, this is like this. That, therefore, I fit it here and I feel good.
His mid-range game going right, shooting over his left shoulder, that shot, I'm not sure people understand how tough that shot is. Going over your right shoulder where your body's naturally angled, where you're shooting over your shoulders at the rim, your follow-throughs at the rim, your right knee might be driving through. Think of Dirk.
Yep.
Going left where it's all distorted, that's his go-to. It's such a tough shot that he looks so easy.
34, 5, 8, and 4 is just taking the piss.
Superstar.
That's what you got to do, though. It's game 2, you're at home, you're down 0-1, someone has to step up. J-Dub ends up with 19, 5, and 5. Geez, you'd hate to have him for 20-plus points in everything that you put on today. Heartbreaker.
Hey, my multi got up.
breaking my heart. Anyway, but he was really like, I think J-Dub, so he shot 6 of 19 in game one, goes 5 of 14 today, but he got going a little bit early, so he was feeling good about himself and just looked good all game, right? Second banana, perfect gear when you've got Caruso dropping 20, when you've got Wiggins hitting all those threes. You just need someone to fill in those gaps, and you're going to cruise. And that's exactly what happened. 15 and 6 for Chet. He looked much more comfortable, I think, this game too. He looked skittish. Like, it's weird to say skittish because it's like, you go, he looks like a baby giraffe. Skittish. I like this because he's tall and gangly. But he did. He looked a little bit like, I don't know, maybe not overawed, but just like a little bit, unsure of himself maybe, perhaps.
The best description, and at the time I thought it was the worst description, but you can use it for Chet at times. It's a lot better. But someone once described me as I flail around the keyway like an octopus setting up a deck chair. And that was I hated it for about 2 years. I never spoke to that reporter again. But there's parts of Chet at times when he's not going great. It's a stretch to go that far because he's never as bad as that. But he's got that physique and he flails around a bit, and when he's not going it looks awkward, but today nothing looked awkward about what he did.
Nah, he looked great. It was awesome. And that's just an ass kicking. So 123, 107. I mean, they shoot the 3-ball better today, 14 to 36. They turn it over not that much, 13 to 15. They out-rebound them. It was the perfect sort of, bounce back ass kick. And here we are. Like, I think you look at some of these other, plus 15 for Kenrick Williams. He played 8 minutes. He looked really, really solid and really, really good. And then you go back up the other way. You go the Pacers. Like, their entire bench just wasn't very good. Like, I think at some point I had to note halfway through the third quarter, they had 11 points total. Aaron Wiggins already had 11 points. So it's what happens in game twos, I guess, when you're actually sort of, as you said, hitting nut cut time and boom. Brutal. So favourite player from today, SGA?
Yeah, he was, but I just thought Alex Caruso was really good when it mattered. And
4 of 8 from 3, 6-11.
It was funny, I was a part of an MVP voting group for one of the NBL final series, and I always made the argument, but who played well when it mattered? Like, the statistics that you accumulated probably today in the late third, fourth quarter probably don't matter. And I thought of all the role guys today that played well when it really mattered was Alex Caruso.
I love
Outside of SGA, I think it was him.
Yeah, he hit those three, like, especially you sort of turn around and he's hitting another 3. And it felt like every big moment had a Caruso 3 attached to it. You're like, oh shit, that got him.
And defended like crazy.
Yeah. It's like they get it down to like 12 points or something. It's like, here they come. Oh.
I'll tell you how well Caruso did. We had a group over here watching the game, and they said Caruso's had 10 rebounds at least. They adjusted. Maybe he had 5. He had 3. They were really impactful rebounds. They were 3 very impactful rebounds.
I like that.
Everything he did just mattered.
I like it. He's just, he's just flying around. He's got that flying doormat headband. I love it. And I don't know, outside of this spud of the night, I think that's Obi Toppin. The 1 of 8 shooting was brutal. It's really hard to go and shit on a role player, though, on the road after they've already delivered in one game. It's like, it's why not like. Can
you go from being the superstar? Can you beat Tyrese Halliburton and mount an argument for him?
You probably could, because you've got him right where you want him. You're up 1-0. If you come out and drop 40 on their head,
But to the same argument, and I'm not saying that he should be, but maybe it's worth the chat, is at 3/4 time he had 5, 3, and 4. Really?
It's not great.
No.
It's not great.
Forget the last quarter. The game's done.
And then I guess old mate, no mates is like, Siakam felt early on. It's like, are you guys going to do much? Like, I'm just sort of out here. He was getting the line heaps. He was causing all sorts of havoc. But really, you sort of get to this point of like a game 2. It's like you've got your split in OKC. If you're Indy, you're like, that's enough for the minute. But I always like leave that sort of shit going, but come on, man. Like, this is absolutely foot on the throat time. Like, fuck them up. Like, go hard. What are we doing here? Pantsing of the night, I think Chet had a pretty sick block. I think it was on Naismith, off the top of my head. It was pretty good, just negated a shot. And then the better than Lonzo Ball, which is your favourite drop, I think, in the show. Just because LeVar, you bailed up D-Mac at the NBL Awards just to yell at him that he sounds like, in my drop, sounds like LeVar Ball. So better than Lonzo Ball. Let's give that look, it's got to be Aaron Wiggins.
As I was about to say, it's got to
Maple
be Aaron
Jordan.
Wiggins.
Maple Jordan out there just causing all sorts of havoc. 6 of 11, 18 points, a plus 24 in 21 minutes. That's pretty good. Anyway, that's the game. 1-1, 16-point win, 123-107. That hits the over, BT Dubs, just saying. What do you think happens for game 3 here? Like, you go back, you're Indy. What sort of adjustment can they even make? Is it just like, God, I hope that, like, Nemhard shoots a little bit better. He goes 1 of 4 from deep. That's
I think the only adjustment, I think we've touched on it. They're not going to change. They're almost stubbornly exactly who they are all the time, regardless of the score, and they believe that the way they play is good enough to win. It's tweaking where the shots come from, I think. Not what the shots are, but who's shooting them. And again, broken record stuff for this pod, but I'd love to, when we get to halftime in game 3, regardless of the score, I hope Tyrese Halliburton shot it 15 times. And then that will allow the other guys to say, okay, I'm only getting my 5 or 6, but because Tyrese has been so good, our number one guy, there's a lot of eyes on him. And my shots, I've got an extra foot or an extra 2 feet of space because all eyes are on him. So I'd love to see him just go, all right, this is what Indiana looks like. I'm the number one dog here. I'm going to take over in the first quarter and let the role players join him as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what he did in what was a game 4, I think, in Indy against the Knicks, where he had like almost the perfect game.
The inverted commas perfect game.
The 35-15 and 0 turnovers and stuff. So, like, we know that he can do it, especially at home, where it's like when you put the foot down and just go, all right, we're going to go toe-to-toe with another superstar. Check this out. 32-15 and 0 turnovers is crazy. They win that game. That was the game 4. So that was a crucial game 4. You're 2-1 up. This puts them up 3-1.
Off the top of your head, after his incredible game, what were his numbers the next game?
Yeah, he was shit house. That's the problem. That's the big problem. And like you hit on this before, like the Halliburton idea of like the superstar backs stuff up. And like pretty good in game 1. A real super duper star, like top 5 dude player, like in the NBA would come out and just go, all right, here's 38 on your head, same as SGA today. And I'm just going to...
You watch Shea have 30 next game. Shea will have 30 again.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, it'll be 25 shots, not
better.
quite the efficiency.
One of our best picks before the series was Shea, 30 points in every game.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's
okay.
2 for 2 for so far, just saying. I don't know, should we throw out some yeah-nahs?
You might want to press pause and get some attention.
Yeah? All right. We might pause that and get a bit of an attention. I don't even know if I can pause this. Let's have a look. I think I jumped myself off the screen, and away we go. And we'll be back right after this. Let's play the drop so people can hear that.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
All right, there we go. Going to do some yeah-nahs, and we're going to give away a bloody signed Dirk jersey. How good is that? The answer is very good, I'll tell you. The thing is, I think yeah-nahs are usually brought to you by you, where you can shout me a beer, shout us a coffee, the link in our bio. But Chris has already shouted me a bunch of beers today, so piss off. Don't go look at it. I'm telling you, don't do it. We're going to open it up to the floor, I think. I did hear, is Sean Kemp overrated? Which is it's just not nice.
I told you my Sean Kemp story last time I was on, didn't I?
Were we drinking?
Probably, we were.
I think we might have been.
He taught me more in 5 minutes. So I was doing a workout for the Sonics before I got drafted. And I walked through there. I was doing a shooting thing with their coaching staff. And Sean Kemp walks down, literally grabs the ball out of the net and says, young fella, you want to play some one-on-one? And taught me more about post-craft in 15, 20 minutes of, like, he spun and dunked on me 5 times. And then I tried to make
Did he give you the Lister blister?
Oh, Jesus. But taught me about shifting defenders with your hips, manipulating with my elbows and my... So absolutely, Sean Kemp. Nah, not overrated at all. For what he taught me, I will always be grateful for Sean Kemp, because what you see publicly compared to what maybe you see behind closed doors, if you're lucky, and he was fantastic.
So when you talk about his hip movements, I mean, dude had a lot of kids.
It was funny so it was funny because I was in New Zealand. I just grabbed one of the guys. I said, I didn't tell him it was Sean Kemp. I said, I learnt this so many years ago to change my post game, because so many post guys lean and try to shift their defenders with their shoulder. They think you're strong if you hit with your shoulder, but he always told me shift with your hips. So you stay low and wide. If my hips are lower than yours, I'm hitting you in your legs, I win. And there's no offensive foul called if I hit you with my hips. If I go over balance, offensive foul.
There you go.
In 3 seconds, he taught me more than Brian Goorjian did about post play in 10 years.
Gorge. Just no one tell Ant-Man about the hip movements either. Yeah, the Sean Kemp thing, I think I was telling this story just before as well. Like, there's nothing actually... I really very much enjoy just hanging out, drinking beers and watching a finals game, because I think it was game 1 of 2018. We were still living in the States. I was there, as I did pretty much every night, was go out, drink a million beers and watch the basketball. And we were in a bar in sort of like Lower Manhattan with my mate, Boston Pat. I think everybody in New York has a mate named Boston Pat as well, because I met at least 3 dudes from Boston named Patrick who were friends of mine as well. And it's like, we've just got a lot of Boston Pats around. But in that same bar that night, which is the famous game 1 of the NBA Finals, where you have the J.R. Smith, LeBron, what are you doing? What are you doing game. The cast of Scrubs were in the bar. So like Zach Braff, Donald, and all of them were just there. I'm like, do you guys just like hang out? Just years later? Weird. But it was hot as shit because it's, June, New York, stinking hot. And it just is just sweating from the walls, that sort of gear. And this game is absolutely amazing. And the Cavs lose. But, it's one of those things like if they win that game, the Warriors end up sweeping that series.
They do.
Do we end up having this spot where Indy have actually pulled off the miraculous win, but OKC now win 4-1? What do you reckon? Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I still think they might. I do. And I don't want to think that. I really want this to be a series, because if we go back to OKC tied at 2s, it's got the potential to be one of those series that we talk about as basketball purists for a long, long time. 2 small market teams, a guy who's emerged into the MVP of the league but was traded away for Paul George into a small market, a guy who wants to be a superstar, but if he can get this done, who knows? I think it's going to be 4-1, but I hope it's not.
Yeah, I feel like Indy can still get one at home, at least one. Come on. The other part of that fun one was I was on my phone looking on eBay for the original Sean Kemp Rain Man poster, and there was one that was already signed, and it was to Jay, J-A-Y, and I'm like,
did you write MZ?
That's almost me. Hang on. Well. I don't have money. Fuck that. And then boom, it's my birthday like 2 weeks later, and it arrives because old mate had bought it for me. It's pretty good, and it's up on the wall in the studio to this day.
This is the longest segment I've ever heard you do.
Yeah, I've also probably had a lot more beers than usual. So we've also got a couple on the YouTube. What do we got? We've got the Aussie Podfather over there. Can we name this final series the Flopping Finals? Yeah, nah.
Nah.
There's a lot of head throws. Duh.
Yeah, but they haven't been rewarded. I think the officiating's been really good.
I think today it was a lot better.
Yeah,
there's a couple of little ticky-tack bullshit ones on SGA, but other than that, I wasn't too upset.
I reckon they've let them play the whole playoff series. I don't think flopping's been rewarded. It's the way basketball should be. Nah.
All right. I think he also had. I'm so glad the Suns didn't draft Halliburton. One of the great all-time draft misses as well, because they took Jalen Smith, I think. Not to be confused with Jaden Smith.
We do have
Phoenix
Suns fans in the bar.
Oh, yeah.
I think it might be. Suns passed on Tyrese Halliburton.
Yep.
Yeah, no good.
Stinks. He's not a superstar.
Did you see him today? Jalen Smith's better.
Yeah. Robbie Tolliday, he's jumped on. Loving your work, guys. Wish I could have been there. Flu's going round. Yeah, tell me about it. The baby squid's still fucking cooked. Can you be a true Australian? I love a good... No true Scotsman. That's a good argument. Love those ones. Can you be a true Australian and be going for OKC after what they did to Giddy? Yeah, nah. I feel like they might have gotten him paid more than he was going to get paid.
That's my thing. Yeah, you can, because what were they going to offer him in free agency? Not much, with all the talent and all the people they're going to pay.
They quite literally would have hard capped themselves if they had have gone maxes for all of them, right?
Josh Giddey may end up making $20 million a year more at Chicago than what he could have made at OKC. So good on Josh. You said it perfectly before. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, he could probably afford some more Tim Tams to go on his carry-on on the way back to LA. Have we got a yeah, nah from the Aussies over there? What do you reckon? 16 Cavs or 25 OKC?
So the 25, well, OKC haven't won it yet.
They haven't.
16
and I'll tell you
Cavs
what,
won it, didn't
16
they?
Cavs have got us. 16 Cavs have got the secret weapon.
Oh, he's got a follow-up coming. I think he's leading you into something here.
Delhi. I mean, OKC's got no Aussies playing actual minutes, whereas like the 2016 Cavs had the secret weapon. Matthew Dellavedova, the king of Maryborough, the smasher of tins, the stopper of curries, the decker of peels. He was incredible. I mean, it's actually, I think on this day, so on NBA Straya, so we do the On This Day series, there was the 15 finals. I think it might have been on this day that we had game one of the where the Cavs might have won it, and he went off his head and put himself into hospital. One of the all-time classic games as well. But I don't know, probably the Thunder. Like they're just, I think teams at the moment are just so fucking deep. Like compared to that 16 Cavs team, where you've got Tristan Thompson, LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love. Like, you're so top-heavy. And then outside of that, a couple of solid role players. But they were older as well, so they might have had a bit of a crack.
It would be a really... not that we don't want Indiana to be here, but it would be a really, really interesting... The series I loved in this one was OKC Denver, because I think that hardened OKC because they went against a team that the core had been a part of a championship. You go against the other potential MVP and one of the greatest guys to play the game. Winning that, I believe OKC are better now because they had that series against Denver. My perfect championship series always where you've got oil and water, where you've got two completely different styles or two completely different stories, and OKC is so young. My perfect world would be for them to have played against if it was OKC, because I'm looking at the Indiana fans who are staring me, to have played against a team, the Lakers in a year when they padded out and they've got Luka, LeBron, other really good guys with years and years and years of experience against this young, incredibly talented team.
Yeah.
So you say to me, who wins, Cleveland or OKC? That IQ, the IQ and the basketball intelligence that Cleveland may have trumped OKC.
Yeah, I reckon just that they were big, they were tough, defense first, and then they had LeBron and Kyrie and just caused all sorts of havoc, right? It was awesome. Also, one of my just core memories though, 2016, that game 7, we're all in a bar, right? Just like a big fucking warehouse in Brooklyn. It's hotter and shit. Everyone just like on their feet in this huge open area watching on the big screen. The end of game 7 is like Kyrie hits the massive shot. Kevin Love gets the stop on Steph Curry. Absolutely nothing better while being wildly shit-faced. Just we had artichoke dip. I remember that just on the middle of the table because none of us had ever had it before. And then everyone tried it. There was like 4 of us. We all tried it, and then it just sat untouched for the rest of the day, just like festering in the heat. It was gross. Artichoke dip. What are you doing?
No, this is fantastic. It was
good. We keep rolling.
Artichoke dips.
We got another one there. Was that a leading question? The 16 Cavs. Nice.
I got one for you. Always got one for you.
Have you got an answer? What do you reckon? Was it the 16 Cavs or the 25 Thunder? 16 Cavs. I like that. That's good. King Delhi all the way. Our one true liege. Jess.
So, do you think the OKC and Indiana, the way they've built their rosters, the way they've embraced the community, is a blueprint for teams going forward?
I like that. So building your roster this way, Chris, where it's deep, they're sort of like not glomming on and like adding superstar on superstar on superstar. Do you think that's a bit of a blueprint now?
It's the only way small markets can compete. They're not going to attract free agents. They're just not. I'm a massive, massive fan in shared experience. So drafting young kids, giving them experience together, but putting those core veteran guys with them early days to teach them about the NBA instead of just being a very young team like Detroit were last year. I thought what Detroit did this year was great to bring in a few of those core vets to guide the young guys. You can't just
Tobias Harris over me.
but that's fine. But imagine the experiences Tobias has had. He doesn't have to be great.
Yeah.
But he can steer the guys into the pitfalls of the NBA, and that's what some of these really young...
Like you think about the Process Sixers, right? They never did that, and they were just horrible for years and years and years, and it completely eschewed culture.
So yeah, for small markets, it's the absolute blueprint because they can't compete through free agency.
So why can't it work for the bigger markets?
Because the bigger markets demand success instantaneously. They don't have what OKC have done over the last 3 years wouldn't be acceptable for the Lakers, and it wouldn't be acceptable for maybe even the Warriors. I'm fascinated to see what the Warriors do when Steph's done. I don't know what that'll be. Maybe they build like OKC. Maybe they try to get Giannis this off season. I don't know. But I think that small markets have the ability to be patient because their fan bases grant them that ability. So, yes, it's a blueprint for small markets. And I love it. I still love the Melbourne Storm analogy where the three blokes who form the three... So who we got? Cam Smith...
Craig Bellamy.
Billy Slater and Cooper Cronk were not wanted in any of the Queensland NRL teams, came to Melbourne as an expansion, but had come through playing together from high school, juniors, all the way through. That shared experience. So the follow-up question for that in my mind is can OKC become a dynasty over the next 5-6 years? That's going to be their challenge when they've got to start paying guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's who do you like that? The question becomes who do you pay next, and how do you pay them after you pay J-Dub, who has an extension already like signed and like locked away. Then you got Chet coming, and then you're like, all right, how much can we afford to pay these role players? Like Dort's probably gone at some point.
And that's the other part is Indy will have the same problem. The other part's going to be which of the teammates take the money and run. There'll be some big money thrown at them if they win the championship. And you'll find out what they... And it's a hard thing to say no to $10 million extra a year. There's got to be a number where you say, hey, I love you guys.
But I got to go.
But this is generational.
Yeah, Bruce Brown. Like that's you got the title with Denver and it's like, oh, but they're going to give me a lot of money. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go to Toronto. Quick Outback Takehouse. It's not even really that much of a flame grilled take. But yeah, if you had OKC in 5, I'm still not that stressed. Like, I'm not cashing that out, if you know what I mean. It's like, there's still a pretty good chance that they smoke through it. Clint, have you got a yeah, nah, or anything? The table's got one. Let's go. Oh, we do have Alex Caruso in the crowd. That's worrisome. You can maybe get 4.
Just for the people who can't see it, he's folded up a napkin. He's put it around the... Bald as Alex Caruso, it's fantastic.
He's either like a sailor on shore leave or he's on the
Hotel Trentham logo across the front in place of the NBA would be good.
I like it. We got one from Gav, per viewer of the Aussie Podfather questions.
If OKC win the title, does it count for the Seattle Supersonics?
Oh, fuck you. I hate... God, this Sonic slurs. I'm not entirely sure about this. So, okay, like... I think we mentioned this chatting in the pub earlier. I hit on this on like a show last week, that every time it crosses my mind that if this OKC team was quite simply just still in Seattle and the Sonics, how much I would fucking love them. Yep. It blows my mind and it makes me so fucking angry that this is not my team. right? Because this is the team that got taken from us in like '08, and it's the perfectly built team. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's wasted on Oklahoma City, because that's a very prick of a thing to say. But it's wasted on Oklahoma City, Chris, because it's a podunk fucking cowboy bullshit town, whereas Seattle, it's a hub of commerce.
Hang on. Cowboys,
culture.
hang on. You're talking to somebody who lived in Texas. Come on.
They're just above
that's not
there.
detrimental. Cowboys
They're
are
right
positive compliment.
Okay, yeah.
Hey,
it's
so what
fine.
happens when the Sonics come back and OKC still exists?
I'll be...
Do you count both of them?
No, we'll
No, you gotta go back to the Sonics.
full-blown Sonics, like from the get-go, right?
No, Seattle's Seattle.
And
it's a city.
I love Seattle. It'll always be Sonics. As soon as they get the team back, I'll be the most fucking nuffy Sonics fan in Australia, if
You
not
already
the world.
are.
I am basically number one here in Australia. The thing is, like, the cool thing about Australian basketball fandom is that there's always, like, some sicko out there who's just as much of a nuffy as you are. Like, it doesn't matter what team it is. I think, talking to Gav earlier, is like the Suns fans. Like, there are so many Suns fans because they were so fucking good all the way through, like, that early 90s period, the KJ Barkley Suns. Then you get into, like, what? You have the weird Cedric Ceballos era Suns, Robert Horry, the Jason Kidd stuff. Then you go into Steve Nash and co after that. Like, they've always kind of been relevant, which is kind of cool. And I think the weird thing about, to bring it back to the Sonics, is like, it was strange how they fell down sort of post Sean Kemp trade when he got fat during the lockout, gets traded to the Cavs. If you follow Jim McIlvain on Twitter, that is the world's biggest hate follow for me, because he cost the Sonics keeping Sean Kemp, right? This is the entire thing. They gave we're going down the rabbit hole, folks. Jim McIlvain gets this huge $54 million contract. And Sean Kemp is like, where's my extension? And they go, nah, you're fine. And he's like, fucking peace. I got alimony to pay. I got child support. I'll see you later. He gets straight to the Cavs. They have the lockout. Gets fat. That's basically his career. Meanwhile, Gary Payton is just like carving up a path in the Pacific Northwest that entire time, almost by himself at that point.
But just to that point, you mentioned Gary Payton. I actually really enjoyed the fact that he went to OKC and said, I don't relate to this team. Don't you 100%. Dare hang my singlet.
100%.
When the Sonics come back, hang my singlet then. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. That's your answer.
They can only hang that in Key Arena.
That's your
Simple
answer.
as that. So, yeah, the Thunder break my heart. I've just gone on a 10-minute rant about why they did. So that was good. Good question. Who should we give the Dirk? We got another one.
If you put Prime Anstey in today's NBA game, how many points is he dropping?
Ooh, Prime Anstey in today's NBA.
The fact that you think there was a prime pleases me. He said I just won the jersey. He's playing the game. He doesn't care.
I mean,
I would have loved to have played in an era where it was beneficial to shoot the three and to be able to play from the perimeter, because it was still frowned upon a little bit. So I nearly got back there in 2008. I got so close to getting to the Wizards, but I would have loved to have had that second shot. I reckon I was a better player back here in my time in Russia than what I was when I was in the NBA. So I would have loved to have had another go to see. I don't know, but I would have loved to have found out.
That's a really good question, though. Like, highest scorer, what, 26? Yeah. And then I think the first time you were on NBA Straya, we talked about like how your game would have sort of translated to like the current NBA, and you talked about like 08 and sort of like, oh, I came really close to going back.
But you know the thing is, you talk about my game translating, and I used to be then I'd be a trainee. I'm 7 foot tall. I shoot it well. I move well. Look at me go. And then I just look across to the other basket, and Dirk Nowitzki's doing everything fucking 10 times better than I'm like, I'm not even fucking close. I'm like, this is bullshit.
It's like, this German dude's way better at everything than I am. This sucks. Nice one. We're gonna. Oh, look at this. This is a signature mid-show. That rules. This is very obviously the first time that's ever happened. So, Jez, you want me to sign something? I'll sign something for you. No, it's all right. Cool. Left boob, sort of. So Chris's career high game came when the Mavs were 15 and 51 in 1998, March 17. Look at that. going up against the Antoine Walker and Ron Mercer Celtics. What a time that was.
Oh, that was fun.
Jeez.
On my mum's birthday, on St. Patrick's Day against the Celtics.
Oh, what a world. Ruined St. Paddy's Day for everybody. Should we give...
I'm going to give two. Can I do this? Can I do two? I'm going to give one to both of the young fellas.
Jerseys.
I'm going to bring a second one. Loved your question, loved your... And also the fact that you're a Dallas Mavericks fan. You told me that earlier on. Whether you lied to me about me being your favourite player, you've answered that one really well. So you get one. I'm going to find a way to get you a second one. Okay, so we'll get you both Dirk Nowitzki signed jersey. So thanks very much for coming
How
on.
good is that? Jeez. And that's why you tune in to NBA Straya, I reckon. Gee whiz. And anybody who wants a signed NBA Straya t-shirt, you're not getting one. Sucked in. They're all gone. I don't know what to tell you. That'll do us, I reckon. Game 3, go to Indy. It's on Thursday morning, 10:30 a.m. I think we go back to. How do you feel like if you're Indy, you basically almost I hate it's a must-win. But this is a must-win for Indy, right? You can't go down 2-1 and give yourselves another crack in Game 4.
Any game's a must win. Oh shit! It's a tough one.
It's the finals.
I just want to see what I want to see what version of Indy turns up. I want to see what version of Tyrese turns up. But I'm going to plug the pub because I'm here.
Yeah.
We're going to watch every single game here live in the front bar. So if anyone's listening, come along. Any game that's on, we're going to be here at the front bar. We'll be having beers. We'll be having a fire. We'll have giveaways every game. But I'll probably find out the same. The one thing I've learned over this whole playoff series is I don't know shit. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I just get a sense we're going to have one of those games, whether it's Game 3, Game 5 this series, where something's going to happen that we just completely didn't expect. And the one thing I hope it's not is an injury.
Yep.
And sometimes you don't realise how fortunate you are being uninjured when you look back on a championship year and you go, shit, we got lucky with injuries, and you don't realise it at the time. But I reckon if you told Indiana you would go back 2-2 and then find a way to be 3-3 and then have a Game 7, I reckon they'd be happy with that. I can't see Indiana going up 3-1. If they win one of the next two, I think they'd be pleased.
So they're 5.5-point underdogs at home. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I'm taking Indy in Game 3 because all they do is defy expectation.
Yeah, see, here's the thing though, right? For Indiana to win, what's the margin? 2, 1, 3?
Yeah. Indy don't blow.
Would it surprise you if OKC won by 20?
Well, the thing is that you think about, was it the Minnesota series where...
Would it surprise you if Indiana won by 20?
Well, the thing is, but Minnesota kicked the fuck out of OKC by 42 in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, but they put the cue in the rack halfway through the third quarter.
OKC just went, oh, well, we're not hitting threes today. Fuck it. And peaced out, right? Really hardcore.
But they did that up they did it up 3-1, didn't they?
It was still, I think they were up 2-0. I think that was Game 3 or Game 4.
Yeah. So they're up 2 games. They're up 2 games.
So you know that they'll be in this, they're already in the series, Game 3. All I know is that Indy are the sort of team that can drop an avalanche on your head. So that's why the thing that sort of runs through the back of my brain is that I feel like they can have a game like that where it's OKC just don't have, they just don't have it on offense that day. They've had it once or twice, they've maybe had at least once per series throughout these playoffs. And I feel like it just might happen and Indy can run them out of their gym. Whether it's Game 3 or Game 4, that's my big problem. I think it'll be one of those games that Indy have a really, really good one. So I'm probably going to go Indy plus 5.5 in Game 3. What do you reckon, Chris?
I'll go OKC minus 10.5 and take extra odds. I reckon they just blow them out.
Nice. All right, there you go. Well, I guess we'll pack it up. It has been absolutely awesome to do this in here. On the fly.
It's been awesome. This is the first of the pub. Thanks for coming up. Thanks everyone for dropping by. This has been fun.
It's been awesome. Shouts to the massive legends in the crowd. This has been awesome. It's been very, very fun chatting to everybody, watching the game. And most importantly, just hanging out. Watching NBA Finals games. There is literally nothing better than doing this.
Stop talking so we can do more.
We're going to do more drinking. So, all right, remember you can find all the NBA Straya gear on all the socials. What are all the Hotel Trentham ones?
At Hotel Trentham and all of the different socials.
What do? We've got Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube. We do a playoffs in a minute video before every single game. We did Sunday Tins with Jim last night. That was a good one too. Just oh God, what are we doing? Before I went to the footy. Go the Blues. How good was that? So get around all the socials. Check them all out. Rate, review, star, subscribe, all that good stuff across Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Buy some merch. Come to the Hotel Trentham. Big thanks to all the bands in the background from Oslo, etc. They're the intro and outro band. And that's it. We will catch you later this week, you dickheads. I think we'll do a Wednesday preview show. I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. How good's that?
I'm going to get you drunk. Let's go.
That's good. All right, we'll catch you next week, you dickheads. As NBA Straya saying, later, Hosen. G'day, legends. Your mate Jim from NBA Straya here. That's right, I'm doing a thing at the end of the show. In the business, we call it a thing at the end of the show, I guess. I don't know. Either way, all I'm just saying is just make sure you're rating, reviewing, starring, subscribing across all of the apps that you use for NBA Straya. Jump in the comments, give us a shout. We'll bang you in yeah, nahs. Any other questions? I'll have a crack. I've got nothing better to do, basically. Also, just ask any questions, tell me what you want to hear from the show, and sing out and let us know. And of course, if you want to help support the show, jump on the old dabble, use that code NBA Straya, click on the link that's in the show description or on the socials. It goes up whenever I do the morning vibes, etc. So if that's your thing, jump on there, use that code NBA Straya, and remember, look after yourselves, would you?
This house feels